Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. So I got a package, and based off the title, I think you already know what this is, but it's the GoPro HERO7. I actually got this a few days ago, and I'm just getting to this now, but in this box, GoPro included the sleeve plus the lanyard here. GoPro HERO7. Wait, it didn't actually come with it? Just kidding, I took it out already. And the shorty. So I actually done some test shots with the GoPro HERO7 already. Oh my god, it is so smooth. The stabilization is amazing. They definitely stepped it up with this GoPro camera, and the quality is amazing. So what we're going to be looking at today is some test shots. We're going to check out 4K, some slow-mo at 1080p at 240 frames a second, which is crazy insane, smooth slow motion playback. We're also going to look at the time warp effect. It's kind of like a hyperlapse, and it's all built into the camera. You don't have to do any editing or anything on your computer, no stabilization. It's just all in here, done on the fly. And the smoothness with this, with stabilization, it's blowing me away. I can't believe that it's that stable. It's almost like you don't really even need a gimbal anymore. So yeah, let's check this GoPro camera out and see what it can do. So what I want to show you here first is the UI of the GoPro HERO7. So it's slightly different than the previous version. So if you want to switch to different video modes, so you go here, you could switch the resolution, 4K, 2.7K, 1080p, 720, and then also the frame rates. Obviously you could switch that, and you could do 4K at 60 frames a second. That's going to actually be a H.265 file. Interesting thing that they did here was that they separated the 16:9 filming formats and the 4:3 filming formats. And let's just go back to the 16:9, put it back to 4K, and 30 frames a second is good. And you know, you got the stabilization here. Pro Tune I have on. That's usually what I always have it set to. Sharpness always medium. Color I usually do flat. So now from here, if you swipe up, you can get access to your videos that you shot. Swipe down and you're back to here. If you swipe to the right, you go to photo mode. Swipe to the left, you got time lapse. So down here at the bottom left, click that. You could switch between video and looping. If we swipe to the side here, you got photo burst, night. Go back this way, you got time warp video. That's what we're going to be checking out a little later. And we got time lapse video, time lapse photo, and night time lapse. And then if we swipe from top to bottom, we get access to our preferences. So we can connect to the app using that, voice control, we can enable it, and a few other things. Another interesting thing is it seems like GoPro is now focusing on vertical video capture because of Instagram stories. So remember in the previous GoPros, when you flip it, the screen actually adjusts and the video also adjusts when you're recording. So if it's upside down, it's going to record upside down. Now the interesting thing is this. So if you go sideways, it adjusts and it's like a vertical format. So it'll actually shoot in vertical mode. And the other thing is also on the front, you can see that it also adjusts on the front, so you can see what mode you're in, and it's just a nice UI kind of setup there. So now I'm shooting with the GoPro HERO7 using 4K 30 frames a second.
Cool.
So you could already sort of see how the stabilization is. My hand is shaking. You can probably barely see it. I'll kind of move around a little bit, maybe run. It's pretty smooth. It's actually really smooth. Now another thing that GoPro improved on with the HERO7 is the audio. So the audio should actually be really good, and I'll do a little test with the external mic here using the GoPro mic adapter, this thing here, and see how the audio is with that. But I think we're going to be good with this. The only benefit of this is that it'll block the wind noise, so we don't really have that much wind right now.
Like no wind at all.
I know. But through this whole little capture that I just did, you can see how the stabilization is. It's amazing. It's crazy. It's like you don't even need a gimbal anymore. So what I want to have set now, I want to do a quick test, is 1080p, 240 frames a second. So I'm getting that set, and I'll get a shot of you, like maybe playing in the playground or something.
Wee.
So the one thing with 1080p 240 frames a second is there's no stabilization, but let's see how it works out.
1, 2, 3, jump!
those shots should have looked pretty awesome in slow motion, 1080p, 240 frames a second. Now what I want to do is put it back in 4K mode and check out the stabilization. So I'm going to have like either Diana run around or me run around. She's going to film me do some randomness. So what I want to show you guys is sort of like a side-by-side shot, or play one by one without stabilization enabled and then have stabilization enabled to see what the difference is. So let's try that out without stabilization first. So we're shooting in 4K here, 30 frames a second without stabilization. So I'm just talking how I normally would.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to just do a quick little walkie-walkie or runny,
Okay.
if you can. So trying my best to keep it as still as possible. Now let's switch over to stabilization. Okay, again, we have 4K 30 frames a second with stabilization on. Again, I'm trying to keep it as still as I could, as I did previously. Diana, you ready to do a little workout?
Yep.
Let's try it. Oh, yeah, I thought you were going the other way. So yeah, how's that?
Cool.
Okay, so for this next test, I want to do a comparison of stabilization between the GoPro HERO7 and the GoPro HERO6. I'm just going to be like riding my skateboard. I think we'll kind of get an idea on the differences between the two and which one's going to do the best. So let's turn them on, get them recording. 4K 30, stabilization enabled. So right now what we're looking at is the GoPro HERO7. I'm moving it around, and now I'm switching to the GoPro HERO6. Let's see what's going on here. GoPro HERO6. Now we're back on the GoPro HERO7. Let me hop off and run. Still on GoPro HERO7 here. Going back to the GoPro HERO6. I think that's a nice little comparison. What do you think? So what I want to do now is do a quick audio test, because on Instagram people are asking me like, what's the audio like on this camera, and then what happens if you use an external mic. So if you're interested in this whole thing, I'll have it linked below. I did a video on it. Okay, so let's get the GoPro HERO7. It's kind of weird saying that, GoPro HERO7. It's in there, let's tighten it up. There's so many GoPros. What you want to do is just unlatch this so we can get the adapter plugged in there. I just want to make sure that the GoPro is actually detecting the mic. So what I'm going to do here for the audio input is just choose standard mic, because this mic doesn't require any batteries. It's going to get powered directly from the GoPro. So it seems like it is detected and we're good to shoot. So let's try a little vlogging with the HERO7. So this is audio coming directly from the Rode Video Mic Pro. Amazing mic. So this is a shotgun mic. So what happens is it's gonna capture audio, you know, if you're talking directly to it. Now see what happens when I flip it around like this. You don't really hear my voice that well. And if we go sideways, you might hear a little bit better, but when we go here, it's gonna sound the best because it's a shotgun mic. Wherever it's aimed, that's where the audio is gonna come from.
Yeah.
How do you sound?
How do I sound?
I don't know, we'll see. So far the stabilization is definitely going to be my top favorite feature on this GoPro camera, HERO7. But now there's another feature, it's called time warp, which is insane and has blown my mind because I used to do hyperlapses back in the day. So time warp is like a hyperlapse, but it's all done in here, this small little thing. So let me just show you how you get to it. So this is the mode that I'm in now. It's just video mode, and you're going to swipe to the left, and it's called time warp video. And now in time warp video you get some different options. So you could do 4K or 1080p. You could also do 4:3 aspect ratios. Field of view, I want to leave it as wide. and then the speed. This is where you kind of got to figure out what you kind of want. So I'm going to go with 10x speed, which means, so at 10x speed, if I record for 5 minutes, I'm going to actually get 30 seconds of time warp footage. So let's try to do one of those. We're going to walk straight down that way and see how that looks.
Let's just get wild.
So we're having a ton of fun right now using the time warp effect. We're doing something so ridiculous. Just look at what we're doing. So one thing I did forget to do earlier was to enable Wi-Fi on the GoPro HERO7 to see if there's any interference with the Wi-Fi signal and the mic attached. Usually there is some sort of interference on previous GoPro models. So let's hit record on here using the Rode Video Micro. That's the mic on top, and I'm using wireless. I have it enabled and it's connected to the app on my smartphone. So with that being said, that should be a good test to see whether or not there's any interference. So the last feature that I wanted to talk about briefly, I haven't tested it yet, but you can live stream directly from the GoPro HERO7 using the smartphone app over Wi-Fi and possibly even over 4G. So you could live stream directly from the GoPro to some live streaming service of your choice. Facebook is one of them. It's sort of built in. Then you also have the option to input an RTMP address and go live from there. So possibly maybe on YouTube as well. I'll have to test that feature at some other time. So far, it's a great camera. I haven't had any issues with it. It's definitely going to be the best GoPro camera out at the moment. And they're definitely making improvements with each GoPro. So super stoked that they released this with the time warp feature as well as the awesome stabilization. But if I did miss something, let me know and maybe I could do a follow-up video and talk about other things. But I think that's it. If you're interested in picking one of these up, I'll have a link down in the description. That's an affiliate link. So if you buy through that link, I'll get a small commission, help support my channel. I appreciate that. And one last thing, I started a podcast, so if you're interested and want to check that out and subscribe to that channel, it's right up there. We're actually going to be doing a podcast very soon on the evolution of GoPro. That's going to be a topic. So yeah, check it out, and thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.